players on Earth Shaker.
No highlight reel at the end there, the shot of Fatah's face when he realized he was...
It was already on Reddit, so it's
Yeah,
fine.
I think most people
He did
have
not
seen
look
it.
pleased.
No. It was a combination of... He looked amazed. He was just confused and angry all at once.
Well, I heard them tell about it later, and it was like he called, I have buyback and travel so I can go, and the team was like, okay, let's go.
Right.
Then he had 52 gold short, and his team probably got a little bit
and
upset.
couldn't make money either.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
can't
was
make
one of
money
those
when you
things.
buy back.
One of those things.
Yeah, of course, the first game of the day is MVP's last match. They're going to face EG. And we're going to actually look at the players to see in what kind of shape they seem. We're starting off with MVP Phoenix. By the way, do you think Phoenix pickers, perhaps? For Ev, offlaner?
Jesus.
No.
I think that like going into like a new kind of patch like this with new heroes going into CM, so we can see QO here, resident Ember Spirit player, absolutely filthy. No, I'm kidding.
I would love to see his Storm, actually.
He hasn't played Storm this tournament, has he?
No, not in this tournament, but he is like...
Or maybe they did in the group stage, but I just don't remember. But they definitely haven't played it
in this
in this tournament. No, but in the like when they first like got really known into the scene, when they went to the Star Ladder and stuff, QO was actually known for his Storm.
Yeah. I think Reno played Storm against them though.
Yes.
And you know, they got wrecked by it, so maybe they want to play it themselves. Ryzen as well.
Famous IO player.
Yes.
The IO to March's Bristleback, and of course last is Heen. Solid player. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of spotlight apart from now. Look, he's in the spotlight, but he is like the backbone of the team. It feels like sometimes, making everything come together. We're gonna fight against the Americans. AG.
Arteezy looking happy.
Yes, Arteezy is actually wearing his hat of doom, but we'll see if that works.
And Fear, he had an amazing performance yesterday on his puck, playing against a Viper, being 6 CS after 5 minutes and proceeding to get 9, 0, and 10 as your final score.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That was one of the stronger performances of this tournament, I think.
I think, you know, when you look at it, certainly when I play in games, I think, I'm not getting any farm, that's it. We've lost.
Yeah.
We've lost the lane. Yeah. But, I mean, just not panicking, that experience, knowing how to come back into the game, how to get what he needs.
True.
Really, really good.
Yeah, Universe, of course, played amazing on his Void as well yesterday. No surprises there to anyone, I think. And it's as you say, it's the experience. I mean, Fear has been around since the beginning of Dota 1 competitive play, pretty much. So definitely an experienced player. Their drafter, PPD.
The brains.
Yeah, the brains. A lot of people calling him the best drafter in the Western scene, but some also recognizing the fact that he's drafting for 4 of the most talented players in the Western scene as well.
Yeah.
And he also showcased some really good play himself on Vengeful yesterday.
But calling him the brains implies the rest of them don't have any, which is obviously not true.
The brawn.
The brawn.
So this hat is apparently the reason why they lost 2 games yesterday.
Oh yeah?
I was in the shuttle bus with them, and apparently he got itchy under the head, and he complained about it.
Well,
and then everybody got thrown off.
Arteezy is a little bit sick, so maybe he wants to keep the hat on just
actually,
to not get cold.
He doesn't like the way his hair looks right now.
Okay, that might be it as well. But he can blame being sick, because I know he was yelling at Charlie for some medicine or something.
There's a couple of sick people here. Some of the players are ill. I'm not feeling 100%.
And of course, the only non-American on the team.
Yes.
Well, excuse me, it's listed Arteezy as Canadian just then.
Yeah, but I just count that as like one big country.
Well,
like
as someone who is
on the other side of the
partly
ocean.
Canadian, I take offense.
How very American of you to say that.
Yeah, that's the most American thing you've ever said, Shiva. It's all the same.
I mean, that's how pretty much everyone looks at Europe, basically, from the US. It's like, wait, it's not just one place?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweden is Germany.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
So what do we expect here? Are we going to see 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2?
It's hard to say, actually. I kind of feel like MVP could take a game off EG. Yeah. Even though, like, Wega was mentioning about Fury had a really good performance on Puck, I think you could say equally, like, he kind of had a game on Invoker where he was in a position to really dominate, and he kind of just made a lot of really, really bad calls. Like, when he was trying to go in and get, like, solo picks and things like that. So I think it could go either way, honestly.
Yeah. I'm going to give them, you know, that was the first game, right?
Yeah.
First game, play a little bit sloppy. The discipline is not there yet. And now they have the chance, you know, to feel a little bit more comfortable as they have played one day at least. And definitely, I think Fair is playing strong. I think EG can 2-0 this.
Okay.
I think 1-1. I do think 1-1. I just feel like MVP have got a game in them for sure.
I don't know if it's just like I feel like MVP are better than they are, but they don't seem to be like the team that everybody walks over anymore.
Absolutely.
Oh,
so
yes.
They're very resilient.
Yeah.
I'm going to expect 1-1. Same reason why 1-1 was yesterday for EG as well. one game to get used to MVP, which are probably going to win, and the other EG is going to win. So actually, if EG wins the first game, I'm thinking 2-0, but if MVP is going to win, it's going to be the first game where they are able to surprise EG most.
4ASC certainly did that, didn't they? If they beat someone, they sort of won the first one and then...
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll
because then everybody knew that they should ban the Slark.
Ban Slark,
Yeah, that's how that worked, apart from 4AG.
Pick around it.
Yeah. But the draft has actually begun, so I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of my co-panelist. So into the first game we go. It is... well, wow. Ooh, it's EG. I want to say Alliance almost there. It is EG. They're both blue. Taking on MVP Phoenix.
All right. Going into this game, EG banning out Skywrath and Wisp as their two first bans. And over on MVP, some respect over to Fear banning out the Puck there. And also Elder Titan, which Zai played amazingly. And more like how they use it. Because they put some dual lane off lane with Elder Titan and Universe.
Yep. I'm going to sit down.
They like doing the dual off lane. They did it with the Venge as well on the Puck.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that lane was probably the one that impressed me the most, just because Peter was in a really good position at the start of the game, ended up getting a first blood. I think it was on Yol, who played Skywrath. Yes,
he killed the Skywrath.
Yeah, so I really think that when people are really heavily picking these low armor supports, like we've seen a lot of Visage, we've seen a lot of, well, we've seen a handful of Wisp, and we've seen Skywrath. So I think Venge functions really well, because whenever you're roaming around the supports, Venge has pretty good base armor, high damage, good single target stun, and she kind of just crushes those early game kind of harassy supports. So not going to see any Skywrath here though, or Wisp, as EG has pretty much just banned them both.
No bans, speaking of bans, on Phoenix or Broodmother so far, and I didn't expect to see them get first banned. I mean, sure, you might want to remove them if you're not comfortable with them, but you also give up some very important bans doing so, and you lose control of the enemy. So this Wisp ban for EG, I think it's important.
Could be one of those scenarios where you're not really prepared to play the heroes. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you might have played them in pubs sometimes, but have you played matches with them, like scrims? Have you practiced heroes that aren't even in CM? Because I feel like most teams probably just don't do that.
No.
And if anything, all you're going to do is individually practice like matchmaking games. So I wouldn't be shocked to see it kind of ignored here. And MVP actually choosing to go for the Slark already. And I think it's actually pretty safe here, to be honest. Skywrath has been banned out, so is Puck. And they don't really have a whole lot of other methods of dealing with him. I'm guessing if EG really wants some countermeasure, they could go back for their Jakiro, they could go for AA. Those are obviously really solid counters.
Yeah. That is, of course, true. And MVP just drafting similar to a lot of other teams during this phase 2. We see 4ASC do the exact same thing, picking Brewmaster and Slark early on. They would, of course, go for Skywrath, but since it's banned, it's fair to say this is pretty identical. And we have Lumi sneaking by as well.
I've realized where the other chair went. It's in the other room for the Swedish broadcast.
Oh.
Yeah, they've nabbed the chair.
The Swedes.
So I have to sit on the floor.
Curse them.
You know, that seat that you have isn't bad, to be honest.
What, here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to screen.
I quite like it there.
You get to sit next to Lumi.
I mean, that's like...
double bonus.
That's icing on the cake.
That's the downside.
All right, so second ban phase here. EG taking their time. I mean, clearly MVP have picked a dual core, and they're actually going to ban Darkseer. Interesting.
Wow.
A hero who I don't even think has been picked.
Hasn't been picked or banned at any point.
No. Yeah, has not been played at all.
Which is weird, because he's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a little bit surprising, as you say, Draskell, because there's nothing that makes me really think, okay, Iron Shell Slark is fairly strong, but there's no combination for the vacuum so far. So
is
maybe
it just a burn ban?
I think they might just know something. Like
they might have an idea.
Scrimmed against MVP.
Oh, man.
Okay. I mean, that's obviously possible, right? Like, you've played, you know, a couple of games. They go to Inferno Online, which is a LAN center around here, and they practice before they come in. So if they've been scrimming against them, then perhaps they've played this in those matches, and they don't want to have to deal with it. So that's obviously the case. The other thing is maybe they just want another hero to get through that perhaps they want themselves, that perhaps they think that MVP aren't going to be able to get themselves. So we will see.
Also makes me think that maybe EG are running more melee heroes, like they already have Lycan and Tidehunter. Darkseer is amazing if you play against a melee-heavy lineup, because you can get easily a 4-man vacuum and wall if you do that. So maybe it's just like, okay, he would work really well against what we are doing, and PPD says no.
Also, he's annoying to farm around as melee, like really, really annoying to farm around.
Yeah. I think it can also be a fair amount. It's just respect to Iron Shell Slark. It is one of the most annoying things ever. already a strong hero.
I don't think I've actually played against that before.
Ion Shell Bounty Hunter is much
You lucky
more fun.
bastard.
I mean, Slark is annoying on his own. I don't need anything else to make him more annoying. I already think the hero is ridiculously strong in the current state of the game. So, MVP have actually taken out a lot of the counter initiation and initiators basically out of the pool. And I mean, this is just an ode to obviously the Brewmaster and the Slark. They're tailoring their bans around these two heroes to make sure they can have the largest impact possible, more or less. Because even though Bat, you could argue, isn't fantastic against Slark, if you get the initiation you want when Dark Pact isn't being cast, you could definitely burst with a team with a Lycan on it, Witch Doctor and Tide. So
yeah, for sure. So Witch, Tide, and Lycan, EG setting up a pretty interesting lineup here. And as I said previously, Lycan, while he didn't have the best success in the first 3 days of this phase, now that C9 and EG are here, I think those two teams are probably the most proficient teams with Lycan. And you almost have to respect ban Lycan maybe in the first phase. But at least we see EG take it.
It doesn't seem like MVP are too worried at the moment. I like the Disruptor into Tide, and I think it's actually still pretty strong against Lycan. You probably won't get BKB for quite a while, maybe like third item, I guess, if you want to go for Book Path, or if you want to go fighting, I guess you would probably get it a little bit earlier. We'll have to see what he does. But it's really nice to be able to just force the Tide into bad situations or make him Ravage when it's not like 100% perfect, or you could just kill him before he's able to do much.
So here's a question. The game last night, was that the first game we've seen where Lycan won? Because he's been banned a bunch of times. He's been picked a few
may have
times.
been the first. I think it's the second game he won, actually. But he definitely doesn't have the best win rate here.
No.
But
why do you think that is? Because normally he's like, oh, Lycan.
I think it's just teams trying to use him despite not being, you know, despite not having trained that much with him and not being able to play him that well. But Arteezy plays a really sick Lycan. He will use his ulti very, you know, greedily. He just uses ulti all the time to send his Necrobooks and Wolves across the map. And he will farm the enemy jungle. He will try to kill couriers. He will harass supports while he just farms somewhere else with his main hero. So I really like seeing him use this hero.
And AG actually just go for the Visage, so this is a very, very heavy burst composition coming out from Evil Geniuses. Like, Howl with the Familiars, you have Soul Assumption. Later on in the game, you're probably going to have Maledict. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to go heal build, honestly, with this type of team. I feel like Maledict could be insanely strong, given the kind of heroes that they already have, but I suppose we'll see.
Heal is good, though, dude.
I know it's good. I'm just saying, like, people forgot that Maledict can actually just straight up get a kill on a hero as long as you deal like 400 or 500 damage. The hero
I mean, Soul
dies.
Assumption and the Maledict is pretty strong combo right there, right?
Yeah, it is.
It kind of depends on if you want to play the aggressive route, though. Like if you're roaming a lot, I think Maledict is probably better.
Yeah.
But
you also have a very nice setup, I will say, from EG, because if they get a half-decent Ravage and they are around with the rest of the heroes, Visage immediately has the, you know, charges to burst his Soul Assumption, and just a setup for Witch Doctor along with Lycan can definitely get 1 or 2 heroes killed immediately.
yeah,
But a nice disjoint hero and a little bit of lane securing from March draft here is the Treant Protector. That can also help an aggressive Slark in his solo place. Giving him a level 4 Treant armor can help secure some kills.
it's pretty nice because it gives another way to stop Witch Doctor ulti with the ultimate. It obviously goes through BKB, so it kind of makes you very hesitant to want to like BKB immediately, which means the Brewmaster split is going to be more effective because you can just throw Lycan in the air, and if he BKBs, then he just gets rooted. So I feel like Tree is actually really solid against what Lycan brings to bear here. I mean, the armor, I don't think itself is really the whole purpose of the pick. It's nice if you can keep your towers up, obviously, like your tier 1s, but if a Lycan and a Visage are both there, the armor is going to get eaten, like, instantly.
Yeah. It's unlikely that towers are going to be harassed that much by EG. It's more likely
Even
that
with the
they will
Lycan?
just... Yeah, they won't be harassed. They will be crushed.
Right.
You know, EG will man up and try to take a tower. They won't really be poking away at them.
Yeah.
So that can nullify some of the purpose of Treant Protector.
Do you think the Drow ban is necessary here? Do you think they could have picked Drow into this
It's
lineup?
mid Lycan, pretty sure. I think it's what EG runs the most of everything. So yeah, I do think that it definitely is possible. And between Witch Doctor, Visage, like those supports having extra base damage with Soul Assumption,
That would be a
it's
tough
pretty
lane,
insane.
right? Yeah.
And they're actually just going to go with a Weaver instead, who in some ways I think is good, and in some ways I think it's punishable by what MVP actually have right now.
Disrupt the silence.
Yeah, Disruptor is great against him, and even the Overgrowth can be very good against Weaver, but I think it's more about the combination, right? Because now you have a tri-lane that's extremely strong, Weaver farming, Visage, and Witch Doctor protecting.
Yeah.
And that frees up a little bit of rotations from Witch Doctor, while Visage does pulls on the small camp.
Nice. I really like that.
Yeah, this is such a 4 ASC draft. I'm just gonna say it. Like the Brewmaster, Centaur, Slark core with a Disruptor and Tree is not unheard of as well. And it has worked out brilliantly for them. So MVP adapting so quickly.
I like the Centaur just for the sole purpose of having, like, disengage or being able to engage when you want to, I think is probably the most important aspect of 6.82. I mean, sure, Evil Geniuses have a tremendous amount of push potential. Their team fight's strong, high damage, but they only have Ravage, really, that controls the fight. Visage Birds are going to be like on and off useful depending on the positioning and the engagement, and sometimes a cast from a Witch Doctor can be devastating, and sometimes it can bounce once.
I'm worried for EG's draft, man. I think MVP has a good draft here because the Stampede against stuff like Universe Tidehunter is amazing to disengage, and even against Cask and Slow from Visage, if you just Stampede at the right moment, you can create a lot of distance before the enemy close in on you.
We did say if MVP were going to win one, thought it would be the first of the two.
They have the draft to do it, so obviously now all they need is to play, and some effigies in the base here from MVP. Need to check them. The buildings around the throne. We have Rubik, very nice. A beautiful little Slark by QO.
Oh, that's a dive. Look at that.
Yeah, I like that. That one is funny. And top left, we even have a little Fury in there.
Is he playing a guitar? He is. He's rocking out.
Do they only have 3? Okay, they have 3. This is very important.
Yeah, vital stuff. Oh my goodness.
Gonna get spotted out here by PPD. Cass gonna bounce one time. Should be okay.
They
no
can't
Grave Chill.
really chase after. Howl was used as well because that way they can maybe fight. But they're gonna get disengaged, both teams here.
I think the one advantage that EG definitely hold here is if they do go aggro and it's the Visage, Witch Doctor, and Weaver, I think the Slark is going to have an insanely hard time trying to get any farm, and good luck trying to zone those heroes off with a Disruptor and a Tree. Like, even though Tree's base damage is quite high, I don't really think you're ever going to get in range to actually do anything. And if the Weaver wants to go in, it's fair game, really. Like, you have one... Well, actually, you have no disables, so yeah.
Yes.
But it looks like they're not actually going to go aggressive, and they're just going to put Fear towards top.
Oh, the return level 1 is pretty good against Weaver because it procs on both attacks.
Yeah. And also procs at the beginning of your animation, so if you accidentally click on him, you still take damage.
Yeah.
But not Shakuchi?
Well, Shakuchi doesn't deal damage because it's not an auto attack. Like, it doesn't hit you unless you actually right-click the hero. Right. It works the same as Helix, basically.
Okay.
I think I'm going to give Fear the award for Best Sculptor, as he has one in the Dire base, the Slark. That seems to be the only one that EG have. But now, mid lane, it's going to be the Lycan going up against Brewmaster.
Matchup that we actually used to see quite a bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
Lycan gets through the draft less and less these days.
Yeah. He used to be very, very popular, but now the Brewmaster can bully quite hard on that lane, but Lycan... Oh, bottom lane. They're trying, but they missed a pounce.
Oh, I think that would have been a kill. DD Tree must be respected.
Yeah, definitely.
Disruptor is holding on to his skill, and that's really good, because you never really know which one you're going to need until you see how the fight goes down. Maybe the enemy is trying to clash you, then you want to have Thunderstrike. Maybe they run away from you, and the glimpse could be better. So I
think in cases where you're level 1 and you run, that kinetic field is almost always better than Glimpse.
Oh yeah, if you have to disengage as well, so there are many different things. I was more for the if you're chasing them, Glimpse can be best. So definitely 3 different options there that could all be the best.
I think in this top lane though, eventually Fear is going to start edging out the Centaur. You don't necessarily have to make direct trades either. That's the thing about Weaver, is his base damage is so high that if you want to harass, you can, but if you don't want to, you can always just go for out-CSing, use Shakuchi to harass instead, and just kind of zone the Centaur off the wave eventually. So the longer that lane goes, I think the worse off the Centaur is going to be. But I also feel like MVP, they really only want him to hit 6, and then they can start fighting just behind, like having a Stampede and a Brewmaster split. Blink is going to be great, but I don't really think they need it per se.
Also, an off-lane Centaur has, you know, they have. If you play off-lane, you have gone up against worse things than a solo Weaver.
Oh, Ryzen still gets himself a rune here. Has Thunderstrike level 1.
Yeah, traded armor's guys keeping him safe, so no problem really. Nice pickup on the rune.
Oh, leaps over the big fish.
Yeah, big fish, small fish.
And Universe has actually opted to go for the point in the gush here, so he does actually want to go for a kill. And obviously, Kraken Shell is not particularly useful against Pounce. It does not remove the it's not even a debuff, actually.
Yeah.
You just don't have any.
It just leashes you.
Yeah.
Ties you to a leash. Yeah, so, you know, I think that Slark has to be a little bit scared. The Tidehunter does have a shark on his head as a coat.
That's true. That's very true.
And Slark is a very small fish.
I'm wondering if they want to try to go aggressive here. I mean, when you have huge creep waves like that, you always have to be kind of wary of being dove or something like that. But I don't really think they can go on Universe.
No, you don't dive into a Witch Doctor and Visage anyway. It's too risky. No point doing that. And I think they're happy with what they're getting right now. Brewmaster's having a good time on mid lane. Slark could have had better time on bottom lane, of course. But the lanes really just need to go sort of even for MVP, and I think they have the advantage. EG kind of have to win the lanes, I think.
Well, they're definitely doing a really good job top, 16 and 5 comparative to the 5 and 2 of Heen right now. And this is just a huge mismatch. I think, again, they're okay with it, but it's definitely kind of worrisome to make, like, letting Fear get this kind of a start. If he gets something like Lincoln's, or if he wants to go another route and just go for, like, treads in the fighting. Yeah, they're going to go for Arteezy here. Kinetic Field going to be used. Actually walked into QO instead of walking for the field. And Ryzen taking some damage from the Wolves here.
He's going to be fine. He's too
tanky. Not going to drop, yeah.
Wolves dealing plenty of damage.
And he just got his bottle too, so that timing was pretty good.
Yeah, so Fear, Arteezy just shakes off the gank. And meanwhile, of course, with one support being gone, bottom lane is completely in EG's control as well.
He sent the bottle back. Why would he not hold it and go for the rune there?
Well, I think he just doesn't want to get caught out. He kind of knows he can just sit on mid lane, send his wolves to maybe deny a rune, and bottle running is fine for him. It's the safer option, so he doesn't run into, you know, any gank.
Wow, he actually got the clarity off Ryzen there before the invis actually went off. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he did.
But yeah, when you have like a support actually just ganked you, you usually don't go for runes. Right. You just kind of sit and chill, and you're like, okay, I'll just bottle crow instead, because my team doesn't really need it right now anyway.
Yeah. He's going to be fairly fine on the mid lane. Obviously, Brewmaster topping him a little bit in CS, but Arteezy is by no means struggling on this lane. 18 and 3 is not bad, considering he has gotten ganked as well.
It's good to be able to get the kills with the Wolves. Like, I've never run Lycan as a mid. I don't think I've ever. It's not something that happens too much in pub games.
It's nice to get high level on Lycan early. Yeah. That's the power, really. And, of course, the rune control.
The thing about Wolves is there's not a lot of heroes who really deal with them that well early on, especially once you start getting like level 3 and 4 Wolves. You just use them as a harassment tool. They can help you control runes. They can push the wave. I mean, it's a multifaceted hero, really. Split. Yeah, he knows he's not level 6. He's going to throw in a boulder, forcing TP reaction. Is he going to be able to block it enough, though? He's trying to retreat into the woods, gets thrown up into the air. He's got his bottle charges, though. He's healing up quite a bit. This primal split is not going to work.
Yeah, it was wasted in the end, and he didn't even need it
here too. This might actually just end up being a kill. He's chasing on QO. Leech Seed's going to be there, healing him up quite a bit. The crit is real. He really wants to go for this. Misclicks a tiny bit. Tree Armor's going to be there. His Shapeshift has only got a couple left. Is QO going to go down? One more hit. Oh, the miss!
Oh,
the
my
Wolves
God.
are chasing him inside of the woods. There we go. First blood going the way of EG. Now Ryzen could be in a bit of trouble too. Thunderstrike still there. March coming in from behind. Has another Leech Seed. Gonna throw it onto Arteezy and a Stampede support coming in from top lane. But the cask, it's too strong. It bounces back to Ryzen. They end up getting another kill and the juke to the tree. He cuts it with the Quelling Blade. PPD healing him with the Voodoo Restoration.
Okay, big plays right there.
Holy moly.
Should be mentioned, Centaur did solo kill Weaver top as well at the same time with his Stampede. So that was a multi-purpose Stampede working out fairly well for MVP, but the plays from Arteezy were probably even bigger.
Well, double damage here on Arteezy. March trying to be some nuisance here, but I think Arteezy is going to be fine. Yeah,
7 armor and a bottle.
Yeah.
It's fairly easy to bottle between the Leech Seed, as it's just once every second it ticks. So very good start here for the Lycan, and
great play from Arteezy.
Also well played by Heen, managing to kill that Weaver on top lane. That could have been really important. As we said, he was struggling on the lane.
I'm really kind of confused as to how that happens. It's got to just be playing over aggressive, right? I mean, if you're Weaver, you don't have the greatest HP gain, and he has 600 health.
Mainly, I don't think it can happen unless Weaver already plays too aggressive on low HP. If he's full HP, he never dies. But he did go for bottle instead of some Ring of Health build, so he's not always going to be at full HP.
Well, Heen getting a kill in a very big way. And little stuff like that does matter quite a bit, especially considering Fear is at 47-9, whereas Heen is at 14-2 in terms of CS.
Yeah.
So
they just chucked Witch Doctor mid here to soak up the XP and try and get 6 as quick as possible?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, getting the ward early on is a huge deterrent to teams who have things like Stampede and Primal Split, because if you get a good one, it can just make them just like straight up run away, like disengage and things like that.
It's more about the Lycan actually having the medallion ready. He farms so quick in jungle, it's almost faster than farming a solo mid lane. And he's just gonna clear jungle, then maybe send some wolves in mid and farm there as well. Meanwhile, he's farming jungle, and that's why I was talking about how, you know, RTZ will micro and just get the most out of things.
Yeah, and these wolves with a mass regen, like even if you harass them a bit, unless you kill them straight up, they're going to stay alive pretty much the whole duration. He's going to pop a shapeshift here, going for the rune. He's going to spawn up. He picks it up straight away. It's an invis. He wants to go for Rise, and the damage output is way too high.
Yeah, Medallion really showing how dangerous it is. And he might even want to go on March here, but he's just going to harass him a little bit. He recognizes that even Centaur was rotating.
I mean, the funny thing is, even if you use Stampede, Lycan's still faster than you when he's in ult form.
That's true, and quite a bit faster as well. 130 or 128 on top of you, so that's pretty fast.
Fear's got his treads here, Keela, full magic wand. I'm curious if he's actually going to go for Linken's. I think it's nice just because Glimpse is one of those abilities that can really screw Weaver over more than a lot of heroes into a static storm. And I don't know if necessarily EG are scared of going late game, you know? Like normally having a Slark would kind of make you go, okay, I don't really want to make it go super late. But if you have Weaver and Lycan, plus the threat of a double Ravage, I think they could delay the game if they wanted to.
I think it's fair to go for Linken's in this game. Obviously going for Desolator early on would also be really nice, just keeping steady pressure on a side lane while Lycan is doing Lycan things.
Yeah.
But I think Linken's is the safer option against, as you said, Disruptor. And they're trying to stop Lycan here. They know he's abusing the jungle so much. And they get one nice deep ward, but they also saw them walk in there.
Yeah, it's probably going to have a good idea of what's going on.
Yeah, they called it. I could hear the EG. He had one ward and then he didn't. What's the call?
My biggest concern right now for MVP is like, two of their cores, the Centaur and the Slark, are both getting out-farmed by anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 gold, and it's only 9 minutes in.
Yeah.
We've seen a handful of kills, but the laning coming out from MVP is clearly not going as well as it is for EG. So if you want to have any kind of chance in the mid-game, I think that you might want to start thinking about getting your Disruptor 6, get March level 6, and just start trying to fight.
I think it's more about getting your timings though, like the blink on Brewmaster and Centaur. When you have those two, you can go for kills, just tag team up and gank anyone. So that might be your way back in.
March, looking at it go.
PPD just seeing a solo kill chance.
He's gonna get
he's gonna get split on here.
Yeah,
Wolf's going for another body block, but he's not living through that, no way.
Any support is fine with that death though, because that's a lot of commitment to just killing you, and you already killed someone first, so you're like, okay, well, now my team is safe from the Brewmaster split.
Yeah.
And
speaking of Brew, QO's getting pretty... Oh, he has his blink, never mind. Okay, so he just got his blink from that kill, and that's going to help out tremendously, and Centaur is still a little bit of ways. And once that happens, like you were mentioning, I think we're going to see things start to kind of kick off here, but it's still around 1,200 gold for Heen before he gets that. The real concern, though, is your blink initiation is going to be so hard to do without things like Static Storm from the Disruptor, because you want to be able to stop Universe. Like, he's actually, I think, one of the higher priorities, because if you use Stampede to get in and you just get ravaged, and your Stampede is more or less nullified. And even if you have 2 blink initiators, you need to make sure that you're hitting the targets before you get ravaged. But that's kind of hard to do.
This is the Roche smoke now by EG going in, even bringing in the familiars to try and help out with this. And with Vlads and Medallion, Roshan dies so fast, and there's going to be plenty of experience for Lycan from level 9, just barely
close to 11, right?
Yeah.
No, he's 11. Okay.
Wow.
Is it? I mean, is part of his rotation to the jungle there? Not only that, but also you don't really know when he's left to go and do rogue.
Yeah,
right?
that's kind of what heroes like sometimes Enigmas or TAs or Lycans can give you. Is just a surprise Roshan factor.
Oh, Ravage top, going for Heen here.
Oh, Centaur ulting.
Oh, man.
Gonna Stampede away, jukes right into a spot and tries to TP away. Meantime, in middle lane, gonna see March drop here to the Death Ward. QO on for retreat, does not have split right now. He's trying to juke around, go for the tower kill, but Arteezy denies it.
Yeah, Hastrun is gonna keep QO safe, it seems. Wants to walk down here again, but Okay, he's gonna try for a kill onto the Visage.
Should get him, I think.
Yeah, stuns are on cooldown, so no way to save his own life. But they did dodge a bullet there as well, MVP on top lane, and they got a kill.
The birds and the wolves. Is it actually going to be enough damage? He's stuttering the stuns here. Ryzen taking quite a bit of harass. He's going to be forced to TP away.
Those dogs, man.
That is so annoying, like being at full health as a support and having to TP away from just wolves and familiars.
Yeah. Still better than having Drow and Visage against you and getting solo killed by 2 birds, or 3 birds, even worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some serious power. Of course, Howl works really well for EG's lineup.
We've seen some games so far in the tournament where Slark on Matumba, man, certainly has been seemingly under the cosh. He's not getting anything going, and then just needs like 8-10 minutes, and all of a sudden he's all over the place. It doesn't feel like this is going to happen this time, I don't think.
Well, it's because EG's team is built so much around like high damage output, and it's not all magical, which means that their pushing potential is also extreme, right? If they go to a lane, win a team fight, you just get the map control straight up, and they haven't even prioritized pushing a tower yet. So
they smoked under a ward. This was detected by EG, so EG know what MVP are going for right now. Very well warded by EG, should be mentioned, and they have to be aware that they might go behind here. PPD, yeah,
he's going to break the smoke.
Yeah,
he sees them. All right, blink forward from QO. PPD gonna throw out a cast. Hits onto March, bounces back to QO, stops the primal split. He will eventually get it off. Fear gonna get glimpsed back to wherever he came from. Looks like that was top lane. PPD just getting dove onto the tower. QO on a killing spree. RTZ thrown up in the air. Ryzen just gonna TP to safety. And I think right now MVP might be thinking about backing here. Before he wants more. He wants to go for Zai. He's gonna be forced to pop his ulti here. QO now out of primal split. The teleport reaction coming in from EG. Reinforcements have arrived, but he is just running the heck out of here.
QO should be dead here. There's no way to run away from a Lycan. He is simply the fastest man until Bloodseeker joins the field.
Even then, he's still faster than him for the majority of the time.
Yeah, definitely. Or at least the same speed. Would not like to get ruptured, though, when you're in like an ulti form.
So MVP take that fight without the help of Heen. And even though they had Stampede, he just got his Blink Dagger while that engagement was happening top. So I think even though that particular fight didn't go well for MVP, now is the time where they can actually start synergizing all of their heroes properly. Like, all the cores have what they need. The biggest problem still, Ryzen, not level 6. It's almost 15 minutes in.
Yeah. He has had a really hard time finding any levels. He has level 3 Glimpse, but as you say, that ulti, Static Storm, is needed. And I'm not going to say all the cores have what they want, because Slark, he would really fancy a Blink Dagger in this game.
Yeah. I mean, he's had a hard laning phase, right? Like, Universe has been down there for a long time. MVP didn't really prioritize getting him farm. They just kind of walked around and started harassing. Like, we saw the Disruptor go mid to try to gank Arteezy, so...
What are you getting next on Lycan here? What are you getting next on Lycan here?
Well, you could go Book, I think. You could go BKB if you want to fight.
Yeah.
But Book is really solid.
Yeah, the Necronomicon is really good.
Blank Ravage right into 4-Ev Medallion. Couple of right clicks from Arteezy and his wolves, and that spells a kill.
Yeah, crazy damage output. Really, really crazy. So MVP are desperately looking for something, but the wards from EG are so on top of things. Visage so mid.
Oh god.
Gets a little bit of a taste of the double Blink Dagger.
Blink boys.
Blink boys. And that's what MVP need. They need to keep finding these openings and let Slark farm up a little bit, get the level 6, which they now have on Disruptor.
March being a little, being brave, I guess, is the word.
Brave.
Yeah.
Has his ulti, and they're going behind here with Heen as well. Aegis is still on the Lycan here, but he should go down once at least.
Yeah, the thing is, he's going to have his ulti form for when he revives, so they're going to have to overgrowth him, basically.
Everyone is here, though.
March trying to get in a good position. They're going to pop the Stampede. QO's here as well. Overgrowth, yeah, he's dead. Wow, he actually gets a kill before he goes down. March walking into melee range.
I think that's a big misplay by March, accidentally dying there. Like, they're 5-man camping him and losing a tower top. They should not die 5-on-1.
Arteezy's not farming with his wolves. Farm with your wolves, Arteezy.
Farm.
Farm.
You played StarCraft for years.
Farm.
At least for a long time.
Oh well.
Top lane, the split by Brewmaster, trying to get a soul kill onto the Witch.
I don't think he's going to get it, actually.
No. Level 2 heal, and Magic Wand is on 11 charges, 12 now even. He's never going to die to the Brewmaster here. Even when he keeps chasing him here, I think he's fine.
Oh god, unless he crits a few times. He's going to drop a Discord to try to deter this.
Look at it go. Come on.
Didn't really do much damage to QO, but it was enough to make him run.
Yeah, made him think twice.
Okay. QO just kind of get clicked down here. Soul Assumption, might bring him down.
Stun. Oh, wow. They're actually going to get Zai. Nope, the two familiar stuns keeping Heen at bay. One more auto attacks. Seals the deal. Now he's got some bugs on him. He's got bug problems.
Heen bought his items. He's fine with dying 1-for-1, even if it's a 4 support. He did save his other core. So basically, you went from a 1-0 trade to a 1-1 trade. And keeping Brewmaster alive might be more important as well.
It looks like we were right about the book, by the way, as that's going to be the item of choice here from Arteezy.
Yes, it is extremely good in synergy with his other items. The medallion to lower armor, Vlad's to buff them up, and then you just go.
I think, honestly, like when you're able to position yourself this way, at 17 minutes in, you're just able to farm the enemy woods, let your supports and your other cores farm other areas of the map. You're already in such a good position with this style of team that I think transitions better into the late game than what MVP has.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, go ahead.
BKB was the item of choice on Weaver. What do you think of it as opposed to the Lincolns?
I think if you just want to get the item to make you live no matter what faster, then BKB is a better choice when you know that your damage output is already so high. So if you're not really worried about split pushing or anything like that, and you want to just go for the direct engagements behind a Lycan and a Tide Ravage, then I think that BKB is probably better than a Lincoln's in some ways, because you can just BKB whenever you see the Storm come out, whereas if you have just a Lincoln's, then if you get caught off guard, you could still die. So for fighting purposes, I think BKB is like always better.
Also, in terms of like targeted spells that the Lincoln's is going to pop for, it's Glimpse and what?
Double Edge and Haze, I guess, and Leech Seed.
Yeah, but it's fairly good to have a low amount of things that's gonna pop for, because that means you actually get it for the purpose that you want, which is the Glimpse. And I mean, possibly for the double edge as well, so Centaur doesn't solo kill you with a Brewmaster. But Drunken Haze could, of course, break that as well. Top, a lot of pressure now.
QO wants to kill these birds. It's actually going to get one.
Oh, the smack.
The other one's going to be dropped. They're pushing in the wave out quite heavily. Universe actually blinking backwards. Looks like EG does not want to try to fight this. Nice BKB timing by Fear. Even has a double damage rune to boot. Teleport reaction coming in. He's going to get Glimpse right back. That was Arteezy and the Lycan. Not going to be in this fight. QO walking forward. Ravage going to hit on 3.
Weaver.
QO just getting annihilated. He manages to get the split off Fear. He's stuck in the Static Storm. BKB's down. Blink back in by Heen. He secures that kill with a double edge and a stomp.
That Glimpse won them the team fight so hard. So Ryzen, well played. And Static Storm, of course, was also dropped really nice. So Ryzen having a huge impact there.
That little army that Lycan's assembled now.
I'm pretty sure there's no place on top tier 1 that you can TP to that's not seen.
No.
Yeah, so Disruptor actually pushing that tower is even more effective than normal.
Yes.
Oh, Zai kind of just standing around here. 4ev lands a pounce on him. He's going to pop the Shadow Dance, wants to go for a kill. Here comes the Witch Doctor with the Voodoo Restoration, and 4ev's going to decide not to go any more ham.
And they have the infamous combination
nice
now, the triple blink combination on MVP. So they can definitely go for plays here, and he just keeps going aggressive. Sadly, only level 1 Essence Shift, else he could have, you know, kept some stats.
You really do want to pull them as well. Arteezy, he's going to get glimpsed here. No ulti for about 30 seconds. Heen is stuck, I think. Oh, no, he has actually room to walk.
I think he's stuck and dead.
Still dead. Look at it go.
From the high ground.
QO is like, please don't let them find me.
Yeah. Slark, meanwhile, gets a solo kill onto Visage there. That's really nice. He gets a lot of experience from it.
4ev, I don't think you can actually fight that, buddy.
Very ambitious little fish.
One day he hopes to be a shark.
Yes. Or maybe not.
Wow, MVP really want to try to go in for this. Universe still blinking and getting a nice anchor smash. Here comes the Static Storm and the Overgrowth, both. Arteezy going to be able to TP to safety inside of the Roshan pit. Now Ryzen being chased down by some wolves. QO getting a nice clap on 2, but the wolves from Arteezy still managed to get that 1 kill. Now they want to try to go for more. Fear going on QO here.
They don't have any
armor,
control for
they
the
want to kill
Weaver.
March. She's doing not quite enough damage.
They have no control for the Weaver in this fight because they didn't use the Static Storm on him this time. Okay, they're trying to turn around with Heen.
Oh, they want to go for PPD, but the cask! The cask is too strong! Look at it go.
Love that, Doctor.
Oh my
meanwhile,
God.
Weaver keeps going ham here. Did use another BKB charge and did not secure any kill with it. So still fine for MVP, forcing out a TP away and didn't lose anyone.
That was a long old fight too.
Yeah.
It's pretty scrappy all around.
Yes, no one really coming out ahead, but with the Blink, 4-staff now on Centaur, and Slark getting some levels with solo kill on Visage, I think overall MVP are pretty happy. Roshan's new HP bar looks weird to me. It's like
it's because
changed.
it's really small.
Yeah, it is.
And I think it has like a border or something, because the normal health bars have the border of the color of the hero that you are. And
it's really thin and extremely wide. It looks strange, but that's the patch. Also, I saw previously that Aegis might have a little bit longer respawn time now than like a second longer. And it seems to be unintentional, so gonna keep my eye on whether that's still in.
It's usually, what, 5 seconds? Something like that?
Yes, it is 5 seconds, and it still says that it is 5 seconds, but...
Apparently it's 6.
Apparently it might be 6. I'll keep an eye on RTZ.
Assuming he dies.
Oh, RTZ. Yeah, he's level 16.
Yeah. He's got the level 4 shapeshift. I mean, this is a stage in the game where I think Lycan is almost at his strongest. I mean, getting a level 4 shapeshift means it's going to be up almost all the time. You have your book 3, you have Medallion, you're going to be working your way towards maybe an AC or a BKB, depending on if you feel safe or not. I would even say maybe BKB is just better here. Like, being safe to pretty much every form of disable on the side of MVP is just too good for me. I mean, overgrowth is one thing, but you still should never die if you have a BKB.
I agree, because when he got sent back home there as well, like the control that's coming out from Disruptor alone, and even Centaur, Brewmaster, you cannot be controlled by these during BKB. So maybe that's the better choice, but AC is also extremely strong. That armor, if you group up as 5, I think you get more out of an Sulk Your Ass. But if you take like 3-on-3 engagements, then BKB, of course, is the better item.
Do EG seek to fight here now they've got the Aegis, or do they just keep splitting with the Weaver and the Lycan?
I mean, they can do either if they feel like they want to fight. And speaking of, Universe going to be caught here in the middle lane. Here comes the Coconut once again. Forev actually going to use his ulti to make sure it doesn't continue to bounce. Universe going to get glimpsed back into his Static Storm.
Wow, even the 3-and ulti, a little bit overkill there.
Yeah,
he was definitely dead.
They just committed quite a lot. Necrobook 3 going to be popped. Forev taking a ton of damage, completely out of mana right now. Arteezy, he pops the ulti. He really wants to go for this
Weaver
kill.
has DD rune again. Weaver, please.
What?
Wolf Clawed.
Yeah. Fear coming with the GG rune.
I don't really think, honestly, that MVP can take engagements if it's like 5-on-5. Like, that was essentially a pick that turned into a team fight, right? And they didn't have to fight with a Ravage.
I think
they still had to run.
Like, they got the pick, and then they overcommitted. Just kill the Tide and get out. Because they used 2 heroes on Tide. He doesn't really want to ulti for it. Then the Static Storm is there, and he can't ulti anymore. After that, just run away. Like, that's... You can't force down against an Aegis Lycan and Weaver who's so hard to control without the... without the ulti from Disruptor.
Looks like Hugo actually opts to go for BKB, which is really interesting to me, honestly. Like, I feel against Lycan especially, you definitely want to go for auras. He does actually have a Vlad's, which is very nice, but I think AC is almost necessary against Lycan teams, and Weaver to boot. I mean, those 2 heroes are some of the highest physical damage type heroes in the late game that you're ever going to see. So
maybe just scared of the Coconut, really.
I mean, the Coconut is terrifying. Not saying it's not, but having to buy a BKB, having to buy a BKB for that, like... That sucks.
It's also the Tide Under, of course. Like, having multiple BKBs against the Tides, there is a strength to that.
Yep.
But Stark should most likely
Hugo loses his entire mana pool instantly to Book. He's trying to bottle up right now. Goes forward, just pops the Primal Split. They want to go for Arteezy. He still does have his Aegis. PBD sitting in the back here. Stampede also popped by MVP. They are committing a ton to this. Forev getting auto attack down by some Books, and behind enemy lines, Fear with the BKB and the Ravage as well coming out from Universe. The Static Storm and the Kinetic Field not going to hit on much of anything, and Kuo's split has ended. He's surrounded by everything. Creeps, Necrobooks, Wolves, all of EG. Arteezy hasn't even lost his Aegis right now.
Even Fear is standing there like, hey buddy, I'm gonna
stomp actually missed on Arteezy, and the double edge isn't gonna go off, and he's gonna get earned. Are you kidding me right now? He's like, please just kill me so I can get some health. Okay. There we go.
So that was an extremely clean team fight by EG, and they seem to be chasing, but I think he's fine here. Fear says no. Fear wants to kill this.
Oh, he's got 1 spell.
Okay, that's the Circle of Fun.
It's the Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
That is the Thunderdome. Literally made of thunder. Saw Zai there with his birds in top lane, just being dicks with him.
These fights away from the creep waves suit the Bongos so well.
Can they fight even when they respawn? I mean...
they have nothing. They have Overgrowth, and that's it. They use Stampede, they use Split, they use Static Storm.
This could very well be Rax from EG.
I really like Lycan against Slark. I feel like Lycan is the hero that you cannot man fight unless you're like Ursa or something like that, who is pretty much the king of man fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they want to go in. They're going to be able to burst down PPD almost immediately. Still alive for the time being. 4F getting a couple more auto attacks off. It's taking so long just to kill the one support. They've already lost 2. March buys back. They're also going to lose 4F, who also buys back. 2 buybacks on the side of MVP right now, just trying to defend their racks. And Arteezy, he cares not. He just wants to go deep. The static field and the kinetic storm. No, static storm, kinetic field. Mixed up the words.
Yes.
Not really syncing up too well there. And Zai, gonna throw out his Grave Chill. Just wants to run it off.
They can almost glimpse him, but he's not quite close enough. Can he get the vision right now and he can glimpse him, but are they gonna get the kill? Actually, Universe comes in and says, hey buddy, claims this. A full Assault Cuirass onto the Lycan, and the push doesn't seem like it wants to stop here.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to back, really. QO can do a little bit here. Actually, Split came off cooldown. Never mind. Here we go. They're going to be able to take out Arteezy here. He does have his AC, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep him alive. He hits so hard, though, almost taking 4Ev with him. 4Ev's going to have to juke the Wolves here. Blink forward. There's another stomp and a double edge by Heen. Just chasing down Universe, who's going to be able to get off one more Anchor Smash, and that's about it.
Wherever comes in to claim the last hit, and Wolves trying to kill the melee Rax, but really they could have Raxed this if they took the range Rax. But teams prioritize melee so much more because it gives much faster push to your side lanes.
I mean, that fight to me reminded me a lot of what happened yesterday when EG were playing against Virtus Pro, and they ended up like taking this really elongated team fight, and then suddenly things just went really far south really quickly.
Yes.
So I don't think that's quite to the same magnitude, but you can definitely tell the EG may be trying to push it a tiny bit too hard.
MKB and DD Rune again, Fear. Just summoning all the GG runes here, and he's going to go in and try to get QO. Can he get him?
I mean, he hits really freaking hard.
He could potentially kill him.
If he gets the
this.
MKB,
oh, he gets
him on command. Just RNGesus is real.
And how fast he brought him down there with the Geminate attack, DD, and MKB. I mean, you can proc on both your attacks as well, so... MKB is a very scary item now in Weaver. Proc items in general. Mid lane, Universe, gonna get initiated upon.
Yeah, he's dead. There's no way he can get away from this. Static Storm, Black Hole, and Void, or Chronosphere are like the 3 best abilities against Tides, because you can't actually crack and shell any of them.
That is extremely true.
Your fishy shell does not help against lightning.
It does not. Oh, the Courier just drive by against this Air Force of EG. The Familiars just barely missing it.
I think, honestly, if they had a Drow instead of a Weaver, like if MVP didn't ban it, this lineup would have been 10 times harder to deal with. Like, if you can imagine Drow versus Centaur, that matchup is so awful for Centaur, you almost can't do anything. I would say Weaver does almost as well, but any orb-walking hero is just an absolute terror for any melee.
It would give you weaker lanes, though, and I think MVP would try to contest the lane, whereas Drow Ranger, Visage, Witch Doctor is not the most terrifying lane. Obviously, Treant is not the best aggressive hero either, but...
It's still won pretty handedly, though. And I would say Disruptor is not a good aggressive hero unless you have a ton of damage. We're going to see a glimpse, actually, onto Zai. 4F getting the pounce off. Should be able to take down the bird, no problem. Just dealing some damage to Ryzen before he drops.
Oh, they're camping the birds.
Oh, yes. Get the birds killed.
Oh, he punched the wrong bird.
One. Dude, he wants them. He's going. The pounce?
They'll
give it. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Value. That's a big deal, because that's over 2-minute cooldown on the resummon on Visage. So, very long time. And he just had his Aghanims and felt happy about it. Now, sadness.
Only sadness. But I think MVP are actually doing a pretty solid job of holding on.
They always do.
Yeah, they do. They didn't lose a Rax. I mean, they lost a tower, but...
Time lapse from Fear. Gonna just jump out from that one. Goes full nope against the Slark.
It looks like Arteezy actually opted for... We mentioned he had the AC, but he made the AC before BKB, which I still think is okay. Just because his right click becomes that much more devastating, helps you push high ground, clearing the base
amount of 5-manning, right?
Yeah.
Because if they would not 5-man that much, you would rather sit with a BKB so you don't get ganked that easily, and in small engagements, BKB would reign supreme. But in the 5-man push scenario, I agree. It's amazing.
Heen behind enemy lines here, scouting things out.
Oh, the Invis.
He's going to see Zai. They're going to pop Stampede. They want to try to go for this Visage, but he misses his Blink.
Oh,
He's not going to find the target that he wants.
Now.
And now Weaver doesn't actually land the Scarab, so the Force Staff of the high ground makes him lose vision, and the TP will be successful.
That Force, though.
Yeah, very nicely done. QO actually pushing a tower in the meantime. MVP just with the better positioning right now.
Yeah, playing really well. Even going too aggressive there, they quickly realized that we have to get out from this one. And just good awareness across the map.
Question is, are EG going to sit back and take that? Because they have almost everything at their disposal right now.
Roche.
And Roshan is up with cheese, so...
And the DD rune again. This game is the game of DD runes.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, is this the new patch?
It's the new
Literally
patch.
every rune is a DD. It's just turned into Quake, where you just get quad damage every time.
Have fun, support players.
Oh my god.
And
oh,
Roshan.
Look at how fast this thing is dying.
Yeah. That is a very quick Roshan kill.
He scouted it out. MVP's in the vicinity. Are they going to be able to do much, though? They drop a kinetic field inside of the pit, but looks like the cheese and the Aegis have already been picked up. Universe blinks down, looking for something. Gets a gush off onto Ryzen. He's just getting attacked by wolves, and they might have to abandon him. Meantime, in the back, Fear trying to stop Heen from Blink initiating, maybe even forcing out a Stampede at some point. And Fear just getting auto-attacked by Forev, letting all his stats get stolen. Blink in, Ravage by Universe. They kill Forev before he's even able to use his ultimate. And the army of creeps is chasing Ryzen. There's nothing he can do. They're just so fast.
Yeah,
Good
that's
God.
really terrifying. QO wants to blink away here, gonna get out. And that's probably all they will lose. But they also did not stop the Roshan, lost 2 heroes. And they don't have buyback on Slark.
And
Bottom lane is exposed.
Yeah, this is definitely Rax. They have a tier 2 mid, so they'll probably have to run straight top if they want to continue this push.
But they can do that.
Yeah.
They can just walk straight through because there's 1 minute cooldown Brewmaster split. And I don't think EG is going to back down to anything here.
They also,
kill the effigies. Kill them.
Don't kill them. Don't kill them.
If you kill them, they come to life.
It's to show dominance.
Actually, they're just going for throne.
Oh, God.
They're just going for straight tier 4.
Yeah,
The damage is completely off the freaking chain right now. EG,
wow,
just going ham.
Yeah.
30 seconds left on the Slark. I really don't think they can do anything. Blink forward, they're going to try to go on Fear and PPD. They drop a really nice static storm, actually. Fear, he's forced to pop his own BKB, but Arteezy is just ignoring his team. He's just auto-attacking the throne, completely ignoring the march. Gets an overgrowth on the entirety of what's left of EG. 4 members. Another stomp coming in from Heen. Arteezy gets Force Staff through the base. They're just attacking it. I don't think they actually have enough damage
There's no way to stop this. They also realize Heen gonna call out the GG. So, well played in the end. The effigies live, most important thing. And yeah, just EG playing a pretty dominant display, I'm gonna say. There was some hope, of course, for MVP. They had good positioning just minutes ago, as we mentioned.
Yep.
But the power really comes together there when EG go as 5 with all those auras, just punch, and all the summons, of course.
At that stage in the game, their lineup just did so much damage that they needed to be addressed as soon as they started 5-manning, right? Like, they walk down a lane where there's no tier 3. If you don't back, you lose your base way faster than you can push against them. So in a way, I think the Lycan was actually the key to success for this lineup. Like, having that hero with the amount of damage that he actually gives your team to push means that MVP can never play their positioning game. They can never get into a spot where they can threaten something of EG's. It's always just, oh, we have to back to defend a push or our whole base dies in 5 seconds.
And even with the new Roshan location, it's still a slight advantage to Dire. It is a little bit easier to get there. And getting Lycan on Dire used to be a thing that teams were like, oh, it's GG, you know?
Yeah.
And to be mentioned, GG were the ones who won the coin toss, and Dire and went in with this strat. So definitely planned, I think.
I think Lycan's probably going to be banned in game 2. That would be my guess.
Quite likely.
I would be surprised. One of my questions actually would be like, for MVP, none of their heroes are really any pushing type of heroes. Is that a fault in their draft, or were they just expecting to win their lanes harder than they did?
Well, I mean, when you saw what EG actually had, I thought that their lanes were better from the get-go. Like
EG's lanes?
Yeah, EG's lanes. Because they last picked the Weaver, and it's like, okay, Centaur's probably going to be in a 1v1 no matter what, and Weaver would beat that. And if they put this sports top, then they're still going to beat that lane, then Tidehunter would have a bit of a harder time. But Slark is actually a pretty weak laner against ranged heroes, so you can punish it quite easily. I actually thought that maybe showing the Slark that early gave EG a pretty good leg up with the kind of draft that they like to run.
But what was the plan of MVP? Like, where did their plan fail?
it's just very similar to what we have seen previously in the tournament, really. They wanted to get pickoffs nonstop with Scent and Brewmaster. That was pretty much the plan. Let the Slark farm up towards that Scotty Basher, and at that point of the game, he can start to kill even the Lycan because he can go in with his Shadow Dance activated, steal a lot of stats. But the 5-man from EG is how you counter that. You don't get picked off. You don't die everywhere. Sure, they lost a few heroes to it, but nothing really detrimental to their strat. And Roshan respawned for a 3rd time, and they just went.
It was just Roshan, game over.
Yeah, it was Roshan, DD Rune, DD Rune, DD Rune.
Oh, yeah.
It was like 5 DDs in a row or something like that. Completely
crazy.
Insane. But I really think that the biggest thing is if you're picking Slark, you need to make sure that you actually have a lineup that you can abuse, because I think EG are probably one of the best teams at just like grouping up and going for objectives and things like that. So that's why they love Lycan. It fits their playstyle so